that you end the broadcast. You just click that. Otherwise, you can see comments. They'll pop in here as people if they're watching. And then the mics are what are the audio here. So,
yep, cool. Thank you very much.
All right, Miss Nico.
Thanks, Nate. I guess maybe I should hear. Oh, we're live now.
We are live. That's okay.
Kayla. Hi, Frank. I love you. I love you so much right now.
What time we got?
It is 12:57.
Okay.
I have no notes.
I have.
No. I don't have any notes. It's all in my head.
Chad, can you pass me that mic down at the other end, please?
Testing.
Hello.
That one's working.
Is yours?
Try talking into it real quick.
No, yeah, flip it.
No, right. It's not coming up. I mean, it's on, but it's not.
Yeah. Hello. I think it is working a
Can you
little
guys hear
bit,
it through the speakers? No.
but you can't hear those. That one, but not this one.
Hello? Can you hear me? We don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I want to mess with that.
What is it? Two turntables and a microphone? Oh,
Is anybody watching us? That's funny.
What? No one's watching us? Well, it's because the other panel over there is pretty amazing. Look at you. Wait.
I thought we talked about that.
Oh, I'm really glad I remembered not to put my phone on.
So is his working or
Is your
no?
mic working?
No, just pound it.
Just pound it.
So then
No.
put that mic in between you
This
two.
one's not working either.
That's weird. Give me a sec.
Should we grab an AIDS again?
Yeah.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay.
The gains are up.
I don't know what any of that means. Is that one working?
I wonder if there's a button on these. Is it
No,
just
there's
a
not.
switch?
Just a switch on the bottom. No, that's not working.
Hello. And yours isn't working? Right.
Oh, wait a minute. This one's not.
Is that on?
No, well, it was. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Ha-ha! Have you tried turning it off and on again?
So go ahead and turn that one
Mine's
off.
missing a cord.
And we're
Or
here.
no,
No, it's
it doesn't need a
cordless.
cord.
Here, we'll just do this. We're going to share. We're going to get really close and
No,
personal.
the only thing is, guys, we just need to make sure we repeat the comments out there because
Because we won't have a mic to pass around.
Sorry, not sorry.
We do. This is an audience participation panel. In case you guys, there will be some audience participation.
Check.
And there might even be some rewards for participation.
Okay.
I may have brought some up.
Yeah, that's probably the most. Thank
Hello,
you.
everybody. Welcome to the Show Theories panel, where everything's made up and the points don't matter. I am Wolf Brother. I have been part of the WAC community since, 2018 is when I found Nate Bliss and then Daniel Green. and then Dusty Wheel after that. And after Dusty Wheel is, all these other podcasts that just, finding everything. And it's just, I love it. You guys are awesome family. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guys.
I'm Beth Weston. You'll see me in different YouTube chats, on Twitter time. Super new to the fandom because I'm one of those people who really didn't realize that there was a thriving community online. I started reading the books back in 1991. So more than 30 plus years now. I was a senior in high school when I picked up the first book. So this world's been part of my life more than 2/3 of my life, I guess, basically at this point. So super excited to be here and gonna love talking to you guys about the show.
Hi, my name is Chad Trent. I'm an artist, and I've been doing Wheel of Time art specifically for since they announced there was going to be a show, so the past 2.5, close to 3 years. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, lean into the mic a little
All
bit.
right.
Yeah.
Just love the microphone.
Okay. Okay.
Just come a little closer. Just move closer to me.
I mean, we did play the Tarvalon After Hours commercial, so
We did. We did.
she'll be prepped for that. Let's see. Yeah, I've read this story multiple times, whether through audiobook, kind of good coincidence there. Whether through the audiobook or the page, I would suggest if you haven't, if you haven't read the book or you watched the show, I would suggest you read the book. And if you haven't heard the audiobooks, definitely listen to the audiobooks. It's right, like for anyone who's done it, like it's a different experience, and then it heightens what you already know for sure. Yeah, and I'm also looking forward to sharing some interesting theories that we've talked about and haven't talked about, and then listening to some of you guys' theories too.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
we're
that's-
getting there. We're
yeah,
getting
yep.
there.
So this is going to have a spoiler up through season 1, clearly, of the show. We're speculating season 2, and then books we're going up through. We're going to keep everything books 1, 2, and 3.
So if you have not read up to
Well-
the
Who has not finished the series? Raise their hand. Okay. Who's all right? And is everyone okay with the book? Has everyone read through book 3? Let's do that. All right, cool. All right. Well, thank you for coming. All right. Howdy, welcome. All right, so show theories. We have a couple topics that we're going to be discussing, and we'll do our first one is a kind of a hot ticket item. If you don't know, we have a new map for season 2. No way.
Not everybody knows. Yeah.
Go ahead, Beth. You want to kick it off?
Yes. So we want to talk about
Just talk about what you want to say. Just go in it.
what we're
Start.
going to talk about right now is that what we think, how they're going to introduce new Matt. Since it's a new actor, new circumstances, my personal take is that there's going to be some sort of additional healing because I don't think Matt was truly separated from the dagger. Something's going to happen. There's going to be a healing, and that's how Matt's going to be changed a little bit. And I don't even think they're going to make it a big deal for introducing Donald. I just think it's going to be kind of a continuity thing, and they're going to incorporate, that's where we're going to see linking done correctly first and practiced channeling instead of explosions of power. That's the way I think we're going to get introduced to him.
So I agree with that also. I would say that I think that they're going to definitely. I think the idea was to basically transition end of first season, Dark Poison Matt, and then second season would be like a new, fresh, the Matt that everyone seems to enjoy most, right? But I think they're gonna, because of the transition of the actors, I think that's gonna probably happen. It's gonna be middle of the second season, and possibly at the end of the season, then there'll be the turnaround. And but I definitely agree that he's not gonna be healed and ready to go. Especially with the actor change, it would be too stark, right? It would be too stark of a change. And yeah, it's gonna be about the transition.
I think that, and I think you also made this point when we were talking about earlier, but utilizing Matt's connection to that dagger, right? A not fully healed Matt to follow and find Padan Fain, who for some reason has the dagger in episode 8 magically.
Right.
That's it.
Ooh,
So
that
one of
is
the
a
theories
good one.
was that Leandrin had given Padan Fain the red ruby dagger from Shadar Logoth, which I think is very interesting because I thought there's a line in the show, I can't remember episode 6 or something, but Moraine's like, I know about the man you meet in North Harbor. I think that's Padan Fain. That would be, yeah. So for those online, everybody thinks that that's a terrible theory. Nobody agrees with me. That is sarcasm. And then there was something you said. I think they will make a joke. Someone's gonna make a joke about Matt looking different. I think
It'll be an off one thing, but it's not gonna be like a lingering big
correct,
plot
right?
point.
No,
gonna
it's
be-
just gonna
yeah.
be
Or yeah, I would say even that the character Matt himself will
Makes the joke.
because
Yeah.
he is
Yeah.
he among other things he is like the he's the comedy guy, so like
Right.
he will be the one who probably points out the fact that he looks different.
Yeah.
He's like what did they do to me? Like I can totally see that happening.
new boots, new man.
Yes, I love it. Don't leave me hanging. Thank you.
I can't see with these glasses on. Let me clean them off. Sorry, I hand raised. Now we're gonna try to. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was just saying,
That's gonna happen.
it's interesting because in book 3, like the arc that Matt has where he's there from Tarvalon, getting healed, and there are a lot of comments about, like, oh, you look, because it looks like you've been starving to death and all of this stuff. So I also think that would be a natural way to lampshade a little bit the actor change is you have an Aes Sedai talking to him after he's been healed, and you just say, yeah, the dagger changed you, and you're not going to be the same at first, and again, those in the book where he's eating all the chickens. And
Yes.
So the
so
comment.
there's a way, even book-wise, to sort of link those things together in a way that I think makes a lot of sense. I just think we see book 3 Matt, like that's season 2 Matt, right? Like that whole arc, that's where I think we start.
The comment from the audience, I'm going to paraphrase it, is that new Matt rolls right into the book 3 Matt, where he goes from looks like death into a 4 chickens later, the Matt that I say the Matt that I like best, right?
Yes.
That's but did I
And if
get that? That's paraphrased right? Good enough, right?
And if you don't like that, Matt, you're wrong. That's basically what it boils down to.
You have a question on the back.
Yeah, we have a question.
Yeah. We got another question, comment?
I was curious if there's any possibility of there being, like, with the portal stones, alternate worlds, maybe having a different map.
So the question was, what do you think?
Do you think that, like, that's a possibility that instead of having it be,
They haven't
you know,
introduced
oh,
it yet,
the person
but
healed,
it's not
they were
bad.
different because of that, if, maybe during, like, they have a flicker scene,
Mhm.
something like that, we end up with a different map in one of the portal stone alternate worlds.
So a variant map.
So basically, pull a Doctor Strange multiverse of madness with Matt. The comment is, what do you think about instead of explaining away the change in Matt to maybe it's a Matt from an alternate universe and we got his body.
What's your
I
turns
think
on
that would just. I think that would be a bit too drastic, and they wouldn't want to try to introduce that into the world. But I like that theory.
Mhm. And real quick, the reason why I don't think that's going to happen, and I'm saying this because I was actually on a podcast talking about the multiverse and Flicker, and how it could be incorporated into the show. I don't think it's likely because that would be too easy of a trope. If they knew how to use Portal Stones, figured it out to go to an alternate and then bring back another Egwene or bring back another Nynaeve or bring back another Forsaken if they decide not to do some of the stuff they do. I'm not spoiling anything, but because I was about to. But so I don't think they'll go there, but it's very interesting to think that there's another Matt somewhere. There's another Egwene somewhere. I mean, it's an excellent, interesting.
A comment or a question from the chat is: are we getting the quarterstaff showdown in season 2?
What?
In season 2. In
Yes.
season 2. So
100%.
Let's
do you want to go?
I will just say that I definitely don't hate the idea. I just think it's kind of an impossibility that so our Randland world they have not broached the subject of the Flicker. They have not introduced the multiverse. So like it really can't. You don't want to be this would be the first experience with that. But I will also say like what a crazy kind of like nerd world we live in where like except for people who just do really weird research on the side, no one knew about multiverse stuff, and it's already she's like well the trope of the multiverse, like people are just now getting used to it, but that is also how we work, right? Like you hear something, you get used to it, and I was like it's a trope. It's like 5 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's talk about that.
Really quick answer, then I'll let you guys go because I don't want to talk too much. Lies. Sarcasm. I would like to see it. I think it's an iconic scene. It would be a great way to introduce Galad and Gawain. But I think the change of Matt, because I think the use of Matt to track the dagger, you need to have him not healed yet, is how that would best work in my mind. So if you get that, then yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
Anyways, I would like to see it, but I don't know how it would play out. And I'm thinking that the healing of Matt Foley is more of a mid-season, end of season type of happening. And it's not, I don't think we're getting it first episode. Go ahead.
So they don't necessarily need the dagger to cleanse Matt in this world. I think they're going to use Loyal, who was stabbed and basically infected by the dagger, to be the person who tracks the dagger in season 2. Because Matt is we know he went back to Tar Valon, right? We know by the scene that they did at the very end.
Tarvalon.
It is Tar Valon until the day I die. Okay? So I think they're going to use that to incorporate Loyal because, we've seen live streams with Hamed who talked about how they've changed his prosthetics to make it be more manageable for him. So I do think we're going to have more screen time for him in season 2. And so that's what I think they're going to be doing. So it very easily, to get back to the question, season 2, quarterstaff, heck yes.
So I was thinking before you started your opening comment, I was thinking that they were definitely going to do that because they're going to be introducing, the two,
The Chakans.
right, the shiny ones,
Actually.
right? They're going to be right, and if they're probably you can't really introduce them properly without also knocking them on their ass. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Another high five.
but you brought that a good point. Like he's because of the actor change and probably the script change now. He's not going to probably be healed at least until the halfway point. You can't just he's going to be sick for the first half episode and then all of a sudden it's going to be a transition. So it makes it a little bit less likely that it happens in the way in that same way, but also I guess it doesn't exclude the chance of him still being, half sick and half healed and still just matting the hell out of the whole thing. And,
Matt,
I mean, just like Lucky, just kind of like a combo of like the Lucky and the memories into making people look silly.
But doesn't this open another question though?
so, yeah, I do want to
Moderate.
transition off of Matt. What topic were you to go into? Because I was going to talk. Go ahead. You go.
I was going to talk about Falma and Tyr in the same season because that is a pertinent segue
Let's-
to
go
that
ahead.
next question.
I was,
Oh,
Well,
sorry, you have a question.
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say, I've been skeptical about us getting the quarterstaff scene only because in the extras, they already did that, like they already.
The
went through
animated.
it, So I'm not sure that we'll actually get it because they already.
It's a great point.
The comment was in the extras we did get the comment. We did get the explanation or the story of the quarterstaff, the original,
The farmer.
the farmer. I can't remember the name.
Mhm.
The best swordsman versus the quarterstaff. So that's a very good point. That they already paid homage to it, so then why bring it back? One more comment, and then we are gonna change topics.
Well, I saw that too, and when I saw it, I was like, oh, they gave us the origin story. So if they gave us the origin story.
Yeah. So the other comment to that was
Yeah, it's the same thing, but it's
the flip side of that coin was that they showed it and put it in there as a cookie or a foreshadowing that we would get the quarterstaff. So all right, we're gonna move on. So go ahead, Beth.
I was so segueing from the whole topic about a half a season for Matt to get healed. Let's be real.
No, let's be fake.
Season 2 didn't get enough love in regards to only being 8 episodes. It needs to be 12-ish episodes, right? Or 14.
You could do 8 episodes and have
3-hour runtimes.
one episode 1 and 8 be two hour shows.
Got you. But that being,
No,
We're just greedy. We just want
we are,
more.
we're just greedy. So so a lot of the debate going around right now is how much of the end major stuff that happens in The Great Hunt, which happens in Falma, and Fight in the Sky, Heroes of the Horn coming back, plus what happens in Tyr, how much of that's going to both be in season 2. I think it's too much to put in one season. So what I generally think is going to happen is they're going to take certain elements from season 3 when Nynaeve.
You mean book 3?
Book 3, sorry, yes, from the Dragon Reborn, like the scene when Suman sends them out as her hounds, right? When they are still accepted, they go out. When they first meet Aviendha, that river scene when they're walking down and Nynaeve heals her Maiden of the Spear sister, and then they're almost kidnapped by dark friends. I think we're going to see a lot of those first encounter moments in this season, but I don't think we're going to see Tyr in this season because Matt is going to save them. For some reason, Matt's still going to go to Caemlyn. He's still going to find out that Nynaeve and Elaine and Egwene are hunted. This is like his true best arc is when he's the reluctant hero. When he's like, dang it, I want to do my thing, but I'm still going to do the right thing. And we need to see that from Matt. So I really don't think there's enough screen time to sufficiently build both of those main storylines.
Okay, so I just had a thought. It's what does Rand do during the Dragon Reborn?
Nothing.
And what does Matt do during the
Great Hunt.
the Great Hunt?
He
So-
blows the horn of Valir.
But then
That's a spoiler. So I guess what I'm saying, I mean, for the meat of the books, right? Because everybody's together at the end of the books. That's kind of like that's what you're reading up to, right? That climax. But right, you have Rand going to Falma,
Yes.
and well, no, because sorry, wait. No, I like, I don't want to go down that route because I think you have the other topic we were talking about is the girls going back to the tower during season 2.
Correct.
And so we have season 2, you have Elaine being introduced at the tower. Where did Min go after Valdara? I think she goes back to Tar Valon. So you have all that set there, and Matt's there. And then to keep Leandrin more present, you have her manipulation of the girls,
Mhm.
and then you have the events that take you to the Great Hunt, to the end of the Great Hunt.
Mhm.
But I don't know where. I honestly don't know. Yeah, because the only thing that Rand would need to do, like, Rand's just kind of lost, and if he's just going crazy, like it would be a waste to have him just follow him to Tyr like he did in The Dragon Reborn. All right, go ahead and talk.
Oh.
Share your thoughts.
About, you know,
Anything.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess I'll go, yeah, with the Tyr and foam thing. You were talking about Suin sending them out. Swan, thank you. Out of Tar Valon, right? We agree on that?
Tar Valon?
Right.
Yes.
Tar Valon. Yeah, so so just so everyone knows, we're talking about the Wonder Girls, or like I call the Dark Hound Gang.
Sure.
Instead of the Bloodhound Gang for all of us
The
older
Bloodhound
people.
Gang?
Right.
Oh my
The
God.
Dark Hound Gang. So I think that I do think that's I don't think people appreciate the problems in translating the book to visual art, right? People don't realize, like,
Mhm.
not to mention, so building up the story and making sure that it's peaking at the right times, you have to have the setup. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh, they nerfed all the guys,
Yeah.
and you know, like, making the frogs gay. Like, I don't think that actually was part of the criticism, but I might be getting lines crossed. But I think that, right. I think, what do we got?
There's a comment in the chat by Arrow Singh, Samg Singh. Rand will follow the Great Hunt storyline, but it ends in Tyr instead of Homa. So he does do, and that kind of makes more sense, like the way that just geographically.
Well, I think that, so the Rand and the other guys, they missed out on starting of the weapon training and all that.
Well, that's true too.
It's going to have to be explained at some point. So I think that we'll probably get some montages of Rand traveling and, you know, and slowly kind of degrading, hearing stuff, but also finding different ways of picking up training that he would have had differently, like with Lan, you know.
There's another explanation. Well, yeah, I think as you were talking about, right, the cues we can take from season 1 should also help inform us about the plans how they're going to condense things.
For sure.
Right, so I think like Dana was a great example of how they said, okay, in the book 1, they have multiple towns, they need multiple dark friends in multiple scenarios, and we're going to combine that into one dark friend that essentially is, but everything in TV is character based, right? It's not plot based as much, and so I think they're gonna focus on, right. So season 1 is, we didn't get the full character arcs because of some of the disruptions and everything, but you know, if you look at book 1 and book 2 and book 3, Egwene and the girls, right? They leave the tower, so there's tower training time. They leave the tower and get captured in some way, and then there's a big result. But the idea that there's going to be
And the same thing happens in The Dragon Reborn.
Yeah,
They leave the
that's
tower,
correct.
they get captured, and
So the idea that that's going to happen twice, there's no way. So that's going to be one scene.
so to paraphrase what's
That's-
going on
that's
is
fair.
is
Very fair.
like what they did with Dana in season 1. They took Matt and Rand's adventure of going back, going to multiple different, you know, towns and that whole, and just crammed it into the one.
Green Spring. Yep.
I won't try to say that because
Green, like green, but Bream. Bream. Is it Bream? Green Springs. Just say what they say.
The
That
town.
clears it up for
The
everybody.
town.
Anyways, and that's a very good point. I like that.
Yeah, that's a very fair assessment.
We're gonna do very back.
So I have a question for you all. You know, you spoke a little bit about how you think Donald will be introduced as Matt. And we do know that some new characters have been, or some characters have been cast for season 2.
Mhm.
So do you have other ideas about how some of those characters might be introduced? And then companion question, what characters, just as, you know, talking about Dark Friends being amalgamated into Dana, what characters do you think they might, you know, merge and amalgamate?
Sure.
So first question was, I want
How
to.
do you speculate that some of those other characters will be introduced? Will it follow the book, or will it be?
So how are we going to be introduced to some of the key characters, and then right like Avienda and Elaine, and then the second question was, what are some of the characters that we think are going to be jammed and smushed into one like Dana?
Gaul and Elias and Elias can be the same.
Gotcha. So Chad, do you wanna tackle those? Pick. How about this? Pick one character.
I think
Do that.
could
That they're
combine.
gonna how they're gonna introduce it, and
I
then
got mine.
do a
So
smash.
you go first, then
Okay.
I'll
Okay, I got
I'll
mine.
listen to everything you say, but really just think about it.
You guys might not like me for this.
Who says I like you now?
You don't like me, you love me. And your wife will vouch for it.
This is true.
Okay, so I think they're gonna eliminate Van Dien and Adelaus. They are going to merge them with Varen. However, this is where y'all aren't gonna like me. I believe that Varen is not going to chase after Rand like she did in The Great Hunt. That's where they're going to put Moiraine and Lan. Moiraine cannot channel in season 2 in the beginning. We know this. Portal stones are still going to be a thing. Moiraine is going to explain how to use them. She's going to take Varen's spot in that journey. So we'll still get flicker, 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 but instead of explaining portal stones, it's going to be Moiraine instead of Varen. I think we're still going to see Varen, but I think in season 2, she's going to be a very ancillary, not huge presence. Hopefully it'll lead up for future seasons, but that's what I really think they're going to do to make that plot stay relevant, but changed.
So Moiraine and Lan catch up with Rand, and that's that group
They
traveling
accompany her
Okay.
to him,
yeah.
to Falma, instead of finding him in Falma.
Okay. And then for the
That was Varen.
so you did the smashed up and
Smashed
then
up Varen with
and then-
Adelius and Van Dien.
what character
Are they
and how
gonna
they
be-
how to pick a character that you think that how they're gonna introduce it.
Okay, so really, oh, yes, question? Okay, really easy one. I mean, we're gonna meet Elaine at the White Tower. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a given. That's just a carte blanche given.
Yeah.
Easy one.
Question,
My
comment?
question is, how do you think they're gonna resolve the fact that they basically cut England out of season 1? Because all those characters are so key to the
Mhm.
development of so many different relationships
Mhm.
throughout this. And I think we were introduced to one. I think it was Galad. We met as a white cloak.
Not yet.
We have-
But
Mhm.
and I'm not sure because I can't remember, but other than that,
Mhm.
we excised Caitlin. Caitlin is such a huge part of the first third.
Yep.
Of this series, of the books.
So the question was, how are they gonna? So Camelin being cut out of season 1, how are they going
Yeah.
to
Gonna tie something up.
deal with that fallout, and how are they gonna introduce it? And
Because
Fix
some of
those.
characters are so important
Mhm.
to the later development of other
Yeah.
characters.
Okay, I'm ready. So this I think that they're gonna handle a number of things, the same way, and I think they're gonna utilize flashbacks. I don't have any, insider information or anything, but, I believe, so anyone who's upset about Tom not looking and feeling like Tom, I believe that we will get that look and it will be in a flashback of Camelin. That'll help set up, the Shiny people, the Shiny family. But more importantly, it'll also, it'll help alleviate some of our, anxiety about him not being the right match.
But we still miss out on Rand being introduced to Elaine and Elida.
Oh, yeah, this is not a perfect theory.
Oh,
This is
sorry.
not perfect. This isn't a perfect
That's
theory
okay.
panel. This is, but I think,
Because the relationship between Egwene and Galad is so important in terms of the whole thrust of the story.
Mhm.
And where do they meet?
yeah,
We excised.
Mhm.
even if they, even, so, right, no, wait, do you want to repeat what, so everyone can hear what he was saying? What did you get? What he
His
was
second-
saying?
Oh, so the comment was, sorry, I'm trying to paraphrase this. Yeah, no, so like even the connection between Elaine and Galad, and the repercussions of that not happening, I think they can still, I think as to answer part of your question here is it's the whole Gawain, Galad, Elaine that will be introduced to the girls at the tower. So that's where you can have that connection. But again, I still think you miss out on the Elida and Rand and I don't know, the Elaine Rand thing is kind of weird until they actually get to meet in Tyr. But there's a comment. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we get the quarterstaff scene.
After Matt kicks his butt, and they get introduced. And then they got to follow together.
So
No, as far as the love interest, they were going all over the place.
He wants to get those two characters together.
So if I'm paraphrasing this correctly, is after Matt whoops ass,
You have Elaine come in,
Elaine,
and then, you know,
you mean Egwene healing Galad and Gawain?
yes.
Yeah.
Except I don't like that. Because Egwene can't
Nursing
heal.
syndrome- is
Egwene
that like
not a healer.
Nightingale syndrome?
Well, yeah. Or any Aes Sedai that ever
And-
laid her eyes on Galad because
Yeah.
he's Galad, right? I mean,
Right. All of a sudden now they're all healers.
Right.
Like, yeah,
I
put
mean,
his hands on that.
so the only thing I want to say in a direct response to the question is that if you remember back, I think it was episode 6, the show got pretty good at giving exposition without really getting into exposition. There was a comment made that the Emerald seat just came back from Camelin. So I think that's how Elaine, Galad, and Gawain hopefully ended up at the White Tower. They came back with her when she came back to Camelin. So I think that's going to tie in the journey for them from Camelin to Tar Valon. But they're really good at the cold opens. So we could still see Camelin, just not an entire episode of Camelin.
And probably in a flashback.
Yeah, I wonder
To
because
fill in
there was a comment made that Mother was in Camelin
Yes.
visiting the Lion Throne. So maybe one of the opening credit scenes is that conversation she's having with Elida
Yes.
somewhere in there. There was
Sorry.
there's a really interesting comment from the chat here, and it's to your Moraine taking.
Uh-huh.
It's no Lanfear. Rand meets Lanfear, and Lanfear is the one that's taking Rand through the portal stones and going on.
Oh,
that
instead of
adventure.
already.
Instead of Moraine
So that's what,
and
that's what Rand is
Ooh.
saying. So that's what Rand.
I do be liking that one more. Who gave that comment?
Eros and I can't. Sorry.
It's okay. There's a lot of people who had stuff they wanted to say.
Over here, please.
That's what you
One
want,
of the
but that's what we
problems
want.
in seeing though is why does Rand end up in Falm? Because in the books, he goes to Falm because Matt and the dad are there, but.
Yep.
At the end of season 1, he goes off by himself, so he doesn't know Loyal's been stabbed, anything
Yep.
that's happened, the girls have almost died.
The comment
So how does
is,
that even get him back to Falm?
where-
So-
the comment is Rand knows nothing what happened at Faldara. So, why would he end up in Falmouth, or how, what strings pull him to Falmouth? Comma. Taviran, plot armor. Go ahead.
My name's Gary, I'm encyclopedic all the time, and I got a page, I put a lot of thought into doing this whole thing here. My theory is cold open, episode 1, Patton Payne stops and Faldara before he goes, and writes something on the wall.
So,
Ray gets a hold of that and finds out.
Right.
She says she needs, and this is based
We
on
did
the
forget that.
interview, she has to go to Typhon Wells. She goes there to research, but she realizes that Rand needs to come back. And so she sends Lan out to find Rand, saves him from Trollocs, and starts his training. Now, after that, I'm not sure, but that's how Rand gets to know that he needs to go to Falmouth. Maureen says, Lan, go find him and tell him.
so there's
You can see that.
there's a lot to paraphrase and break down with this one, but I'm just gonna reference Gary from Encyclopedia Wheel of Time has an article on this.
Yes.
Where can we find it?
Just look up encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia-WOT.org
.org.
for awesome theories.
Well, that's the side thing, it's mostly just about this side.
Do you guys wanna comment on that?
She does for sure.
I love
For sure.
every single little bit of that. That's, let that happen, please. Sorry.
No, that's good. Because I had a great follow-up on that. I completely agree.
There's a question right there.
I think, we know that Bartholomew was passed.
Mhm.
We know that we're probably going to end up in.
Kyrian? Kyrian?
How we say it?
Isn't it Kyrian? Kyrian.
We are talking about the Wheel of Time.
It's this series.
It's just a book series.
So in the book, right, everything kind
Yes.
of led to, Clarion, and then went to Falmouth. And that's kind of could be the meeting point for all these threads.
So
Yeah, it could be.
for all the threads can meet in Kyrian and then disperse to,
No,
Oh my
they
goodness.
just-
or then go to Falmouth together.
Then they meet in Clarion, then they go to Falmouth.
So the threads
See,
come together,
That's a
Well,
great theory.
the threads weave together, and
But I gotta go with Leandrin kidnapping
That still
the
happens.
girls,
Yes.
not if they go to Kyrian.
They don't have to go to, he's talking about Rand meeting up with Matt and Perrin and the folks who are finding the horn, because we know that Perrin that's gonna be his arc, is chasing the horn.
Gotcha,
So
okay.
those storylines meeting up in Kyrian, similar to the book.
So the boys meeting up in Kyrian.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And I don't think, I think we're gonna be limited in the amount of sets we get.
Yeah.
I think we know we get Falmouth. We know we have the White Tower. We have to assume, or I assume Clarion. I assume that excludes Penguin, because we don't
It's
really
too-
need
except for
Penguin
Flashman, it's too big. Same with
until we get the book 6.
Yeah.
Which we're not talking about today.
Right.
Um,
Can I just put a vote in for Rand throwing letters in fire?
Yes!
we still want to see Rand throwing letters in the fire, playing the game.
These
This
are
one
not
and that
working.
one
Yeah,
we can't get
not
to work.
working.
Sorry. We have IT here to help us.
Yay!
So Rafe had said, so the,
Well,
What did you do different?
What's likely to happen is that, yes, Rand will Rachel probably not.
Do you want me to play my corner?
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, 'cause it sounds-
We know about.
Thank you.
One
Actually works.
detail, actually, we know that. Thank you so much. We know one interesting detail. We know we're probably going to get a Drakkar fight. And we know that from a comment that Daniel Henney made. He said we're going to get Trollocs, Fates, and 2 swords. The 2 swords in the books refer to land sword and another water sword that together kill a Drakkar at Eddie Ellis and Vendine's place. I think we're going to get exactly the same kind of fight, but probably, as you said, at Varen's place, not Eddie Ellis and Vendine. The interesting question is, what's the second sword? It could be Rand. So if Rand is at that point with Moraine, it might be Lan and Rand working together to kill the Drakkar.
And Rand gets his sword training.
Mhm.
We got another question or comment?
And I guess this is another question, but just since we didn't get Dragon Mountain in season 1, do you think we'll get it in season 2? Is it a way to show the effect of madness in Rand and building that up?
So like more of like a original epilogue or original prologue from book 1 brought into book, like a flashback cold open kind of thing. I hope so.
I could do a whole panel on just what we want to see in the opening.
The cold open.
The cold open.
Yeah, definitely agree though. I would love to see that, the whole thing is like, so in the end of season 1, it's still not disclosed that the Dark One was who we know he is, right? So how much of that are they going to do? I mean, it would be a great way to introduce the Forsaken, right? I mean, that would be a great episode 1, season 1 cold open. This is how we introduce the Forsaken into the world, right? Because that's another huge thing that we haven't even talked about.
Yeah, we got
10 minutes, 15 minutes left.
We got about 15 minutes left.
Yeah,
So we
there's so much, and it's so exciting.
Really quick, not to be outdone by the other panel, can we all just laugh really loud and clap?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Oh, this is awesome. Thank you, guys.
That was a great idea.
They're like, we've got 10 minutes left. Stop
Yeah,
sharing.
sorry. So, which one you guys? Go ahead. Out of the ones you spare time, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, parent.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to talk about Perrin.
I'd love for us to talk a little bit about what we think is going to happen with Perrin and Elias in season 2. Because I would say we've talked about just almost all the other main characters so far.
And Huron.
And Huron.
And Huron.
Rip Huron.
I would say, kind of going back to a previous question, like as far as melding characters
Mhm.
together.
Oh, that
Huron
And Elias.
are gonna-
Huron and
they're gonna-
Elias.
Unfortunately, they're going to be melded together because that's what shows unfortunately to do. Kind of like just skipping over Camlin.
I kind of think you don't have a sniffer because that's just another thing another element that you introduce into this world that you don't want to explain that magic,
Oh,
right?
as far as
Like,
that goes,
yeah, because I mean, we've introduced Min's thing, which I think, is her viewings is a very specific thing. I don't think it's related to channel. Sorry, we're going off topic.
No.
Perrin, I think Perrin assumes a horn hunting role. And then we get more of what happened in book 1 with meeting Elias and getting that training, and of course Hopper. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of think he is off on. Well, no, maybe he goes with the Shinarans, right? He's got So
gonna stay with
so
Pluto.
it's Ingtar and Perrin's journey.
Ingtar, Perrin, Loyal, and Uno.
And yeah, there you go. You know what? I don't even want the rest of the season. Just give me those 4.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Am I talking about Perrin? Or
Unless
Elias?
we can move on to the next topic if you want, because we want to keep going.
There's 2 big things we
Yeah,
have
so
not
go
talked
ahead.
about
Go
yet.
ahead. We'll switch.
Okay, so we haven't talked about the Shan-Chan yet,
So okay, and next one.
the Forsaken.
All right.
Those are the two, and that's my opinion. We don't have to do those. You moderate.
We got 15 minutes.
You're the moderator.
We'll start with one. Which one would you guys rather talk about? Shan-Chan, raise your hands. Forsaken. All right, we're gonna,
Why is it like a 50-50 split?
all right.
You're thinking of a
That's
number.
right.
between
No,
one
I got
and
it.
10.
We're gonna start off with Shan-Chan, and I'm gonna moderate well.
Done.
So go ahead, Shan-Chan.
Shan-Chan, we were introduced to them, right? First of all,
They like to wave.
they like to wave. My theory is that we're not going to have Suroth. They are going to merge Suroth and Turok together. And they're not going to kill Turok in the end of season 2 because, Suroth has quite a big presence going forward. I don't think we need to have 2 high lords / high ladies in season 1. I might be wrong, but that's what my big theory is, that we're going to have the 2 merge together. He's going to be who he is and who she was. So
I would say that we will still see, kind of like what Sven already said, that the show is definitely, and it should, it's unfortunate they should, but they're going to condense. So the girls will be caught in a number of traps, but it should not be as many, for sure. And I think that, they will find themselves, on the Shan-Chan, homeland. And
they'll find themselves on the end of it. The Mani.
oh yeah, and you know what? So I believe that they alluded to that when Nine was having that one-on-one with Rand and talking about the bone break fever and what was the quote that I wrote down? Yeah, the unbreakable quote.
Yeah.
That is definitely going to be. Sorry about that.
Is that on?
I don't.
Oh.
No,
It's not
on.
You
It's for
gotta
nothing.
flip the switch on the back of it.
Yeah, I think that that's going to be a direct,
Sorry, guys.
it's a direct callback. Like she's going to be, tested, and it's going to be, kind of brutal and everything, but she's going to persevere through it, and that's her constant character arc too. Is
And I
put yourself in terrible positions, and she's consistently growing and becoming better each time because of them.
And I think that Rand and Perrin and those storylines, they don't even come close to Shan-Chan. I think the Shan-Chan is going to be dealt with in the storylines with the girls and the Andrin, and again, we don't have enough time for the topic, but Perrin and his squad are meeting a character, and that would be the Aiel.
Yeah.
So just
Yep.
you have these 2 huge entities coming into that we want to see, but you split it down the line. So I don't think we get the Avienda meeting with the girls, but we do get a Perrin and Avienda relationship that will replace Aiel.
And possibly possibly Gaul.
Sorry, we don't have time. We have to
Avienda
move on to
might.
Forsaken.
Avienda
Sorry, do we have a comment? We have a comment question.
So someone in chat
Thank
said something about Turok, no Turok, and my question was, I forgot. I thought we had Turok cast.
He is cast, but I
Yeah.
think he's also going to be Suroth. I don't think we're going to get a Suroth. I think they're
Oh,
merging
so
those
we're
2 characters
merging. That
together.
was your question. Okay, because my comment is I need a friggin' sword training montage
You'll
so
get
that
it.
I can have some freaking
Sweaty,
memes.
shirtless Rand moments.
Yeah, but all the wind raving through the rushes memes for the internet.
You'll back there is another question, but we're going to have words later. Words.
And I guess with just the Falma stuff too, do you think that's where we're going to meet Bail Doman in the season? Is there, and that's going to be our introduction to the Shan-Chan?
Thank you.
We do be meeting Bail Doman. By his aged grandmother, we do. Be
Skeeter says I should probably give up my hopes for Billy Zane as Turok at this point.
Hi, Skeeter.
Yes, Sean Chan. We'll switch over here in just a minute.
So one of my big theories is that, because when Ray was interviewed and he announced Avienda, he sure made it sound like Avienda was at Palma, right? Like that was very implied in the way he was
We're
talking
talking about Rafe Judkins
Rafe
here.
Judkins, yes. So when he did the interview, because he released something for Jordan Con and he talked about and he announced her. So I feel like we don't necessarily need two battles of Rand, one in the sky and one in Tyr. And so I actually think that could just be one continuous battle. Maybe that's where Rand finally discovers gateways, is in one big battle, and he ends up in the heart of the stone at the end and pulls out Kalendor. And it's all the same battle. It's not two battles. And you have Falma and Tyr same time.
But then Matt would have to be in Tyr to talk to the IO. I think introducing two major subcultures in the
Season
in the
2,
span
one
of
season.
8 episodes is way too much for people who don't know anything about the series to take in and understand. I think we're going to get introduced to the IEO. They are not going to be a focal point. Maybe Avienda says, I'm going to come with you because you're weird and I want to know more about you.
Or could you release me from this cage?
Yeah, or something like that, right? So
Sorry, just I think what the events that happen at the end of the great, I think you introduce Falma for Egwene's storyline. I don't think you need to bring in the battle. I don't think you need to have the sky fight because that's just kind of weird and confusing. And even if you did the sky fight, you could do the sky fight in Tyr. And then I also don't think you use the horn until the last battle. The last battle. Sorry, that's a
no,
a spoiler.
That cannot happen. We can't talk about why, but that cannot happen. We'll talk later. Well,
Guys,
we met an IEO in a
he
matter
said,
of speaking.
have we not already met the IEO? We've met the IEO. We met a dead IEO.
Who happened to be a stone dog who we
Oh,
know.
yes, we did. It's hard to forget.
Oh my God, dog. Blood snow. Oh my God.
Blood snow.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are going to switch it over here and do.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I fail. Horribly.
We haven't met the culture, but we certainly met part of it. So
Yes.
We've met the culture, but we have met part of it, and that's through the blood snow scene and some of the comments, from Loyal and Tom.
And Tom and
right,
yeah.
guys. We're gonna do a hard about face and do Forsaken. Either of you care to start?
Do you want to talk about the Forsaken?
I do. So how they ended the show is going to be, it should be very foretelling to what they're going to be doing next. So like we ended with Moraine being, there's so many things we could talk about still, right?
Yeah.
Right. Being not stilled, but shielded.
She's shielded. Yeah.
And she really was the first battle, not the last battle. She now knows, like the crack in the seal. If anyone noticed. Right. So like I believe that she now knows that the Forsaken, or at least that will now be brought. Probably super undercommunicated if they transition correctly from the books to the show. But I think you're right. So we'll start getting a little bit more backstory, but it won't be a focal point either. Like they're going to cover a lot of ground in the second season, but so right, we probably will be introduced to. Yeah. So yeah,
I think
we will start getting names. We will start getting names, and we won't get all 8. I don't think we'll probably get 2 Forsaken in season 2, and we'll probably get 3 or 4 in the following season,
I think we indirectly get introduced to all the Forsaken. I think that a cold open is going to be the Dark Friends Social, and it's not going to be what we expect it to be, but I think we end up seeing a lot of the Forsaken there. And then I definitely think that Lanfear becomes a main character.
Definite focal point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's got a lot of questions. I was curious if you had any speculation on which Forsaken were getting
A little
cut.
bit louder, sorry.
I was wondering if you had any speculation on which Forsaken are getting cut.
Cut.
Oh, I went through
Because-
this.
Okay, I think Mr. Kramer has a.
Do you think it would be worthwhile, in terms of the Forsaken, to do a whole episode in the series, which really takes us back to the Luz Theron collapse? So you introduce the Forsaken as Luz Theron is battling him, because we have not met Luz Theron at all. And that whole aspect of the madness living in Rand, to me, is something that is so much part of the books and so important to what is going on. And also would clarify the world that everybody knows, everybody in their world knows, that we don't, or the audience doesn't.
I personally definitely think we're going to see Age of Legends when they open the bore. I do think that's going to be a scene, whether it's a flashback or a cold open. So maybe we see the Forsaken as esteemed members of the Aes Sedai before the evil was unleashed, and so you don't necessarily know they're Forsaken, but then you see them in a few episodes later, and they're all of a sudden Marin is Lanfear, or Semirog. I can't remember Semirog's name. I love the books, but I'm not that good. But you see her. Maybe you see her using her medical knowledge. She said she used to like to inflict a little pain while she was curing people. So maybe you start to see those things that led them to, or you see Demandred totally jealous of Luz Theron, or you see the day Ishamael is like giving his speech and he's like, I'm going to the dark side because it's logical, so there's so many. I would love that. I would love to see the roots of who they were before they became who we know.
Go ahead. Do you have spare?
Oh, yeah, again, I could only agree, at least one episode. I couldn't see them doing more than an episode, but I wouldn't. It's too much ground to cover for just simple flashbacks or simple cold opens. I would love to see at least one full start to finish episode where you're showing showing the before, so you get the full, which they kind of tease too much, right? Like they show us the shiny Age of Legends when it really should have been. But yeah, they should show us kind of like the before and after of it.
Go ahead.
I love that.
Rafe Judkins.
Could also introduce
the
Aiel
change.
as well.
Rafe Judkins, if you're listening to this, we need an Age of Legends spin-off series, please. Thank you very much.
The quick comment, and then we're I think that they also might, how they had the bonus content material and they had the stories. I think we also might get some the Age of Legends through there. I have to call it. Do you want to make a comment or a question?
I can make a comment.
Go ahead, make a comment.
What theories? We talked about this yesterday. The show is of course kind of fast forwarding, right? Because of time constraints. So we know that Ishi's already affecting things. So my comment is, what if he's not the only one affecting things? We talked about, the meat puppets. I don't know if you discussed this in the panel. I had to step out, unfortunately. And the possibility that the meat puppets we saw with Logain were actually other Forsaken already influencing the world.
That's really
because the way they show up, is Masana's visage. But yeah, that's it.
Everybody, thank you very much for coming. Spare of Time, Beth Weston. You can also find Spare of Time out in the vending area. He has got some great stuff out there, so check him out.
And if you still want to talk theories, find me. I could do it all day.
Thanks, chat.
You're welcome.
Yes.
That's what I